Due to your poor spelling skills, you've accidentally summoned Dan. Image prompt. Gary, I realize it's your first day, but we do have a dress code. I can't tell who's talking to who, and I don't want that to change for a second. Sloths aren't lazy, they're just saving their energy. Today, that energy is released. This is single-handedly the scariest post on this hell site. You have the power to heal others. You are a villain. I am the American healthcare system. Oh my. Image prompt. This is the installation wizard. Multidimensional travel already exists, but no one visits our dimension because it's that one. This isn't a prompt, it's just a fact. Don't touch it. That's the corpse of a god. You are what you eat, I reply as I begin to build a fire. Your Tumblr username decides your profession. How was your first day at work? You're a killer dumping your latest victim into the river. Just as you're about to be done, you spot another person doing exactly the same thing. And they've just spotted you too. Same crime, same crime. You walk into a room to find out the only way to escape is by writing a name of a real person on a piece of paper. This will kill that person. Ma'am, you only need to write one name. Sir, stop that. I said stop. You can't write your own name. You are suddenly able to see numbers above people's heads, which are counting down, and you have no idea why. One person you meet reaches 0, and they sneeze. It then resets. One day you're walking along when you fall into a hole, and you realize in horror that this is the writing prompts database. To escape, you have to live through every single prompt on this page. This ain't a prompt, it's a full-fledged horror story. I'd rather die. Good news for you, amigo. You'll die many times before you live out every prompt. I feel like this could be fun though. When you die, you appear in a cinema with a number of other people who look like you. You find out that they are previous reincarnations, and soon you all begin watching your next life on the big screen. Too much. My previous incarnations throwing popcorn at the screen and booing. This witch is stupid. Wonder how many times I've been alive then. You don't have an angel or a devil on your shoulder. You have an angry Viking and a 50s housewife. Both are telling me how to solve my problems with murder. The debate is over the method. You are the owner of a magic backpack. Every morning you stick your hand in, and it contains exactly what you need for the day. One morning, it contains a gun. But this isn't the plot of Dora the Explorer. Swiper ain't swiping no more. Right. Out of all the prompts you've ever given, this is the most outrageous. You're an astronaut lost in space who gets rescued by friendly aliens who think you're just the cutest little thing in the whole galaxy. Plot twist. You're also a foul-mouthed a-hole who regularly tries to attack these aliens. This is called being a cat. I know I'm getting close to finishing my time machine because I've caught several older versions of myself attempting to sabotage my lab. I love this one because the narrator sounds so unconcerned with the fact their future selves are obviously trying to stop them. I'll die the day pigs fly, you proclaim loudly. Unfortunately, death took your claim too seriously. Now hundreds of years later, you're desperately strapping some wings to a pig. Police already have helicopters though. You have the ability to freeze time and explore the world while it's frozen. As far as you know, no one else has this power. One day, while you're wandering through your frozen school, you notice something is following you. It's called a shadow. You think you're clever, huh? You live in an alternate world where twins, fraternal and identical, can feel each other's physical pain. You're an only child with no siblings. One day, suddenly, you feel a burning pain in your chest. It's called heartburn. Learn to eat slower, you hooligans. Reincarnation is known, common, and an expected result of death. You are a bounty hunter that specializes in tracking down people who have ended their life to escape debts or jail sentence. It's a girl, Doctor exclaimed. It's a tax dodger is what it is. Blaze the Flame Hogan burst into the infirmary, cocking his shotgun. Humans have been giving their pets god names for millennia, not knowing that they actually bestow them god's powers. It's divided among all pets with the same name, so ultimately quite harmless. This morning, by a quirk of fate, yours is the only cat named Zeus. Potential crisis prevented, my cat is already neutered. Writing is weird. One minute you're telling a story, the next minute you are researching the average amount of snowfall Edinburgh gets, or how to end someone with a piece of barbed wire and a tomato, or how much force it takes to dent a human skull with a can of Pepsi. In a game with no consequences, why are you still playing the good side? Because being mean makes me feel bad. Because my no consequences power fantasy is being able to help everyone. You run a tattoo parlor. Every couple of weeks, the same customer comes in, always requesting the same tattoo. An additional tally mark on an ever-growing cluster of tally marks. What are you counting? How many tattoos I've gotten? I'm no longer serving you. In the afterlife, souls can see how many living people still know you once existed. You, who had lived a fairly normal life, life. Finally saw the count drop to 0 just after 200 years from your death. 500 years later, 95% of the Earth's total population knows about you. And they all know I sold really, really bad copper. So you have the ability to make people fall in love with you, but only after you kiss them. You meet your favorite celebrity. They're single. How do you think up an excuse to kiss them that doesn't make you sound like a crazed fanatic? Does it matter? Do whatever it takes to kiss them, because once they do, they won't want to press charges. The confidence is strong in this one. You turn on your PC to keep working on your novel, but to your surprise, when you open the file, it is writing itself. You read some of what has already been written, and it seems your characters have created free will, and the plot is progressing without you. Oh, thank God, says the writer. If not friend, then why friend-shaped? The human cries out, after you denied to let them pet your home world's most dangerous predator. 5 minutes later, the human is scratching it behind the eye stalk and talking to it in a baby voice, and it's letting them. Your landlord is a vampire, so he offers you a deal. You can pay your rent in money, or in blood. This is just the, oh no, rent's late, how can I make it up to you, not say for work trope, but for goths. After biting a fae, the vampire claims she must serve him, for his bite converted her into his thrall. The fae claims that the vampire must serve her, for the vampire ate fae food without her permission. As none of them is willing to give up, they bring a case to you, a lawyer. Congrats! What? They both ask, confused. On your new marriage? From a young age, you realized the mirrors never showed your reflection. They showed you how you'll look in a month. One day, your reflection is gone. I guess I'm gonna go through with it. What? Calls my vampire girlfriend from the other room. Tell you later, I say. For some reason, you're kidnapped and put into an isolation chamber. The kidnappers expect you to go insane and fess up, but little do they know, you are so happy to finally be able to daydream 24/7. I can't go insane if I already am. You're the town's superhero. Your greatest enemy is the town's supervillain. However, secretly, you're both brothers. This isn't anything tragic, as your whole destructive rivalry is actually just a mess of pranking your third brother, the mayor. Finally, a realistic sibling relationship in the media. This would be a good plot to an anime. Despite your reputation as a Dark Lord, you have a strict moral code. So, when a young girl showing signs of abuse wandered into your realm, you took her in. Now the neighboring kingdom is accusing you of kidnapping their princess. You have to choose between returning her to her abusers or war. Of course it's war. Upon birth, babies are screened and given a random ability based on what their parents had. Your dad had telepathy, and your mum could sing any song perfectly, even mimicking the voice. You were given the seemingly useless ability of playing songs into someone else's head. Proceeds to rickroll every person in existence. I mean, that's pretty bad, but it's still not that bad. You rush into a church to stop the love of your life from marrying the wrong person. Not paying attention, you barge in yelling, "I object!" only to realize it's a funeral. The deceased immediately rises in perfect health. All eyes turn to you. "You're welcome!" I yell at them and run away again. You actually write something instead of just reading the prompts. Shut up. You pick up a small device. On its small screen, it simply says, 1 skill point remaining, and a list of 8 attributes. You click on strength and instantly feel your muscles stiffen a little. The screen now says, level up to gain more skill points. Jump cut to me in a shitty alley, armed with a tennis racket, swinging at rats with wild abandon. While cleaning your attic, you find a box of glass balls with names on them. You accidentally drop one, and as soon as it shatters, a person appears. "Dude," your brother said as he opened the door to the attic. "Stop breaking stuff." I love these clever subversions of fantasy writing prompts to give them a mundane punchline. They give me life. Multidimensional travel already exists, but no one visits our dimension because it's over this. When you end someone, their remaining lifespan is added to yours. Archaeologists have just found a cavern, apparently sealed off for 1,000 years, with a single person living inside. Well, there was a single person living inside until they were slimed out by me. Temples are built for gods. Knowing this, a farmer builds a small temple to see what kind of god turns up. A reaper built a temple in his field, a humble thing, some stones stacked up to make a cairn. 2 days later, a god moved in. 4 roommates are extraterrestrials who have taken human form in the hopes of learning about Earth's culture. Unfortunately, each alien is from a different planet and believes the other 3 are normal humans. I would read this. Instead of the monkey paw, you find the clown's nose, which instead of granting your wish in the worst way possible, will grant it in the funniest way. All you've ever wanted was to be feared and rule the world, but every villainous act you commit backfires. Steal candy from a baby? Poisoned candy. Baby saved. Steal the baby? Abusive parents. Throw a woman off a building? The push she needed to unlock her powers of flight. She's now your sidekick. Newly acquired toddler. Mr. Evil Man, you sure are helping a lot of people. Villain. Finish eating your lunch, Timmy. Daddy's plotting to overthrow the Big Bank. Sidekick. Oh, that's great, John. They're so corrupt. I'll count cancel my plans with Linda tonight. She's gonna love this. Villain crumples up evil plans and throws them across the room. You have many of the abilities of a Disney princess. You can talk to animals, people burst into songs around you, and it seems every day a Prince Charming type falls madly in love with you. As one of the most feared Mafia enforcers in New York, it's tough, but you make it work. How did you know? He squeals on his knees and shaking. Your finger tightens on the trigger. A little birdie told me. You live in a world where pictures are always in color until the person photographed dies. While looking through your grandparents' closet, you find a picture dated back to 1826. The picture hasn't faded to black and white. You realize there's a turtle in the background and carry on with your day. Yeah, a plastic turtle, then you start panicking again. Every year, the richest person in America is declared the winner of capitalism. They get a badge, then all of their wealth is donated to a charity, and they have to start over with zero. This procedure results in the world's richest people donating excessive amounts of money ahead of the event in an attempt to avoid being hit by a real-life blue shell, thus adding to the overall annual donation. One day, you lose your wallet and it's found by a mob boss, who figures out that you aren't in such a good place financially, and takes pity on you. They start anonymously sending cash, clothes, and furniture to you in the mail. Eventually, the mob boss sends you a letter to state that they bought you a house, and it lists an address. What do you do? In this economy, thank them politely, pledge your loyalty, and join the mob. You live in a universe in which everything turns to a color once you touch your soulmate. The protagonist touches their soulmate when they were just a few months old, and grows up thinking that the color they see is the default. They are now well into adulthood, and seemingly can't find their soulmate. Will they ever? Plot twist. It suddenly goes black and white for them, so they think that is the color everyone is thinking of. As you die, you wake up in a fiery place. You quickly realize you're in hell. You ask the demon why you're there. As you lived a very good life, you're not being punished, he says. You are the punishment. So you're the devil? What if a guy in a hoodie comes up to you and hands you a giant book and gives you a sly smirk? When you start to read it, you realize it's a book about your entire life. Would you read it to the end? What if you read it up to where you are now, and then you realize that there are only 3 pages left when you get there? But why is the guy wearing a hoodie? Maybe he's cold? Humans start out at birth with milk-white blood. The more crimes they commit, the darker their blood becomes. One day, you meet your soulmate. Skip a few years and things are amazing until your soulmate trips, falls, and exposes black blood. Dude, I've not paid for music since 2006. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a crime. Me too, to be honest. What if when you killed someone you gained their best trait? What if you only got what they thought was their best trait? Practical. Garbage disposal in case you fall into the garbage disposal. Pics that make you go oof, oof, splash. The Antichrist came and went, but no one noticed because he wasn't worse than the current state of the world already. The rapture followed, but no one went to heaven, so we didn't notice that either. We've been living in hell for the last 5 years, and no one has noticed yet. Oh, I didn't realize this was a writing prompt. You've always been able to teleport since the day you were born, with one exception. All eyes have to be turned away from you to do it. One day, as you lay in bed in the privacy of your own home, you try to teleport, but discover that you cannot. You can't fast travel when there are enemies nearby. Your mum admits to you that you have some supernatural blood running through your veins, but she doesn't remember what kind because she was kind of a, what's it called, a sleeper. Your Tumblr username decides your profession. How was your first day at work? Guess who just got mad at? While putting your favorite condiment on a sandwich, you accidentally make a magical occult symbol and summon a demon. You silently take 2 more slices of bread out of the package and make another sandwich. You put it on a plate with a handful of potato chips and hand it to the demon. He takes the sandwich, smiles, and vanishes in a puff of demonic smoke. The next day, you get the job promotion you were after. There was no contract, no words spoken, you owe nothing. But every now and then, another demon pops in for lunch. Demons don't often get homemade sandwiches. You have been abducted by a UFO. While you're figuring out what just happened to you, a frantic alien bursts into the room. You have no idea how many rules I'm breaking, but my human studies final is tomorrow, and I need help. I'm the alien. A mark on your forehead identifies the god you must worship to stay alive, usually by joining its local church or temple. Your mark is unknown, meaning an old, forgotten god sponsored you. To survive, you must either find an old temple to worship at, or do the arduous task of building a new one. Nobody in your small coastal village has ever seen the god mark that you were born with. It's a dark reset sequence of crisscrossing lines, with a vertical arrowhead on the left and a circle on the right, just over where your brow meets your temple. Some of the traders who come down from the mountains say it looks like one of the scripts used in the hinterlands, but not a language that any of them recognize. A group of dragons get together to play officers and managers. Is this where the office came from? Dragon. I put Dwight's stapler in jello. Roll for sleight of hand. I scowled no. I pushed off his hand away, taking a few feet away. It appears it might be time for me to stop writing and go to bed. I too take a few feet away. As he pushed off his hand away, a barbarian warlord, a goblin king, a mighty necromancer, and a dark elven high priestess meet for one reason: to play suburbs and SUVs. The hottest mundane suburban family tabletop RPG. Can I roll to have a meltdown in the middle of the PTA bake sale? Why? To make Karen look like a witch? Due to a loophole in the system, people can escape hell and get to heaven after death. You go to hell and all you see is Satan, just sitting there playing with the harmonica. Everyone left him and he's now all alone, jumping onto a demon hickory stump. I pull my solid gold fiddle. Do you remember me? A depressed guy moves into a haunted house with 7 demons, each corresponding to a deadly sin, but they're all trying to help him get back on his feet. Pride helps with self-confidence. Lust helps him get with women. I would watch the hell out of this. Envy. Glut, back off the guy, okay? Gluttony. I'm just saying he could stand to gain a few pounds. I made spaghetti. Write a story where the plot is based on some song lyrics. She was happy and she knew it. The urge to show it overwhelmed her. She clapped her hands. Time travel has finally been invented, and you go back in time to stop the burning of the Library of Alexandria. When you get there, however, you find it was burned for a very good reason. So everything in here is not safe for work about humanized animals? Shut up. Following World War III, all the nations of the world agree to 50 years of strict isolation from one another in order to prevent additional conflicts. 50 years later, the United States comes out of exile, only to learn that no one else actually went into isolation. I was looking for writing prompts and came across this.